However, this was their problem. And this is the problem with black people too, and other people around this planet. We have this idea that somehow the issues we have with white folks are some kind of misunderstanding. And if we just can work it out, even if we got to fight, that they have some other interest other than killing us. So, because they had never dealt with a barbaric demon before, because they did not know what a European devil was, I'm going to let you watch for yourself. How could they take an army that had completely defeated them in battle? I mean, they had defeated the whites. The whites were done militarily. They went out on the battlefield and kicked the white boys behind, was ready to put them out the country. But yet, they got exterminated. Let's see how that happened.
You British and the French are like the two edges of a pair of shears, and we are the cloth which is cut to pieces between them. Odawa.
By the mid-1700s, the Indian nations of the eastern interior were surrounded by European powers. Spain controlled Florida. The English were pressing in from their colonies in the east, and the French were aggressively moving across the Great Lakes and along the Mississippi River. One Odawa man, who had fought alongside the French, then watched them retreat, refused to abandon the struggle. His name was Pontiac. While many leaders saw the English as a threat to their nations, Pontiac saw the English as a threat to all Indian people. Nations had to put aside the past and unite in common purpose. Pontiac's vision would change the thinking of Indian leaders for generations.
It is important for us, my brothers, that we exterminate from our land this nation which only seeks to kill us. There is no more time to lose, and when the English shall be defeated, we shall cut off the passage so they cannot come back to our country. Pontiac, Odawa.
Fighting men from the Anishinaabe, Miami, Seneca, Lenape, Shawnee, and other nations responded to his call. In May of 1763, Pontiac's rebellion erupted the siege of Fort Detroit. Over the next 2 months, 9 of the 11 English forts in the region fell. Only Detroit and Fort Pitt remained in British hands, both under siege by Pontiac's alliance. Pontiac stood on the verge of total victory. The British Army, freed from campaigns against the French, launched massive expeditions against the Indian forces. But Pontiac's alliance held their ground. Increasingly desperate to prevail, British commander Geoffrey Amherst put a bounty on Pontiac's head, then proposed a sinister tactic: germ warfare.
Could it not be contrived to send the smallpox among those disaffected tribes of Indians? We must, on this occasion, use every stratagem in our power to reduce them. You will do well to try to inoculate the Indians by means of blankets, to try to extirpate this execrable race.
Shawnee, Lenape, and Odawa were crippled by smallpox-infested blankets from Fort Pitt.
Pretty soon burst out a terrible sickness among us. Lodge after lodge was totally vacated. Nothing but the dead bodies lying here and there in their lodges. Entire families being swept off with the ravages of this terrible disease.
That was then. This 2007.
A doctor and 5 nurses facing death in Libya, convicted of infecting hundreds of children with the AIDS virus. Today, a pivotal meeting. CNN's Relitza Vasilova reports.
The Libyan Supreme Judicial Council could reduce or even overturn the death sentences of 6 foreign medics. It's the closest the 5 Bulgarian nurses and Palestinian doctor have come to being released.
We're very hopeful that that will be the case, Ralitza. We know that the Higher Judicial Council now will make a ruling on the death sentence, which was re-upheld by the Libyan Supreme Court last week.
First convicted 3 years ago of an unspeakable crime, if true. 5 Bulgarian nurses and a Palestinian doctor are found guilty of deliberately infecting more than 400 Libyan children under their care with the virus that causes AIDS. 50 children have died. Libyan prosecutors claim they infected the children as an experiment.
So, I play this for a very important reason. When we talking genocide, it's not coming one way. If you look in just one direction at this European killing you, you're going to get destroyed. Not because you can't beat them physically,